felt like Mrs. Doubtfire there. Today, I am starting a 5-piece travel tip series that is going to focus on Playbook of travels. The 5 videos starting today with video 1, that's going to be a travel tip timeline to help you travel less chaotic and more calm. The next 4 videos that follow along with that build upon it. So once we have everything in that timeline ready to go, we're going to talk about packing essentials. We're going to talk about we get ready to go on the trip, our carry-on packing, because I am mainly a carry-on suitcase and personal item bag only, but if you check your bags, you can adapt it towards that. We'll talk about airport tips, because as we know, it is changing all the time and very quickly. Go through a general playbook of airport day, and then the final video will be solo travel. So some of my trips I do take on my own. I do things a little bit differently than when I'm traveling with a group of family or with my husband. What you're going to learn is basically from planning that trip and making it more calm, all the way down to travel day, airport day, packing day, all of those in between. It's a vacation. We want to relax. With this video series, I'm going to take that stress out of it, make it a little more relaxing. Video 1 of 5 in my travel tip playbook series is stop over planning. This is my exact timeline and how I plan our trips when we have big trips, when we have short trips. If planning your trips feels like juggling wet spaghetti, this video is for you. We are going to go over the 3-month, 1 month, 1 week out. 3-1-1. It's like your toiletry bag. 3-1-1. Here we go. 3 months before. This is our dream and decide big picture phase. You're going to choose your destination and dates, book the flights, book accommodations, check passport expiration, and start a simple itinerary list. 3 months out, you're going to make those big decision plans. But sometimes if you are planning a huge, longer trip or with a large group, this may be 6 months, 5 months, just so it keeps your stress level low. For example, I am planning a Mediterranean cruise. Cruise ships can fill up quickly. So that's why I've started looking now at the 6-month mark, just to make sure that I get the room that we want. I like midship because there's less rocking of the boat. When you're thinking of that dream trip right now, think about those particulars first. Am I planning for a large family group? If so, it takes a little more organizing. We're going to back that up to 6 months. Planning a restricted accommodations like on a cruise, back that up to 5 or 6 months. Most of our vacations, we start at 3 months because we can book our flights, we can book our rooms, we can book our excursions without a problem. We have our destination, we have our date. For example's sake, I'll use our Dublin trip that we did a few years back. We picked that we wanted to explore Dublin. We wanted to take an excursion to Cliffs of Moher, and we wanted to do city tours. That's our big picture. And then we double checked that our passport had more than 6 months before it expired after our return. Let me back that up. Some countries require your passport to have 6 months validity past your return date. I said that better that way. Make sure that you check that, because it could take time to get your passport renewed if you're getting within that close time frame. You can now renew your passport online, which is great if you're eligible. If you are traveling with a person under 16, those passports are only good for 5 years. Had to do that by mail. Plan that into your agenda so that things can be relaxed. The next would be accommodation. We wanted to stay walkable to parts of the city that we wanted to do. We stayed probably about a quarter of a mile from the downtown city center, which was a little quieter, but we were also able to walk back and forth pretty easily. We also decided to do a city day pass, sites we wanted to see that maybe were a little further away. We got on that bus and it just dropped us at those locations. An app I like to use when we're planning the entire trip is called Wanderlog. This has not only a map feature that I can check out the distances between places, but I can set it up on a day-to-day basis. When I wanted to do a museum one day, Guinness tour in, mapped out the book of Kales that I wanted to see and how far that was to see if it was doable all in the same day. Once you put in that itinerary, it gives suggestions as well as hotel information. Pick your hotel and then you can pick the different spots that are near that to see if that's the right hotel for that trip. I have the general plan mapped out in Wanderlog app for Dublin. Now I can adjust and move around within it as I continue to do a little research. We've got the big pieces in place. Take a breath, have a nice tea, relax, everything's set in motion and we're moving along smoothly. 1 month before, this is when we're going to turn our ideas into the plan. You're going to book those specific tours. Check your country entry requirements 1 month before. I have a full rundown video of each of these entry requirements and I'll link that in the description for you. If I can figure out how to put it up here, I will put that link up there, that if you want to check into those specific requirements for international travel, you'll have that available to you. Plan your rough daily flow at this point. This is where you can go back to the Wanderlog app and move things around within the app so that it's easy to make that a full day plan if you want, a half a day plan. Maybe you just want to do one thing and then go relax. Arranging transportation, start like a drop zone, travel insurance. So let's get into all of those because now we're 1 month out from leaving on our trip. Booking the tours and getting all those reservations solidified. I use Viator because it's easy cancellation. When we make our tours, we did the Cliffs of Moher going to Dublin. Reviews and people commenting in there is a great help to see which of those tours you want to do. Entry requirements, usually a month out is all you'll need. We did the UK ETA, that took about 30 minutes for us. Everybody's different, so I always advise doing it at the 1 month out point, just so you have plenty of time to address any changes or additional information they may ask for. The other thing I would remind you is to check your spam folder. A friend of mine went over to the UK and she was panicking because she couldn't find her entry when they send you that confirmation email, and it had gone to her spam folder. Now the really fun stuff, exciting, when you get to plan what you're actually gonna do there. Using the Wanderlog app, I can rearrange everything, but if you don't want another app, just put it in your notes app. Or if you're still a paper person, just have it all on one piece of paper. The reason digital works better is because it's easy to copy, paste, move things around when things change. If you're using a notes app, keep it all in the same app so that you have your reservation numbers, confirmations, your itinerary, all in there and can revert back to that versus where was that email? Or did they send me that in the text? Or copy and paste it from those emails, from those texts right into that notes app, and then it's all right there. You know exactly where to look for it. And it can be hard trying to find what activities you want to do. Some ideas that I use are, one, talk with friends who travel. I post it sometimes just to see other people who've gone there that I may not know of. Sometimes as a starting point, I may just type in the question into Chat GPT and see what it populates so that I can get a basic rundown and then research from there. Or travel agents, they have great information. I have a friend of mine that does that now, and she has ideas. She helped me find Path of Gods when we were in Italy. Start putting together your exact day-to-day plan or itinerary so that you have a general idea. I would suggest, only a suggestion, only 1 to 2 big things per day. It's vacation. It's supposed to be relaxing. Now, in our younger days, we packed them full. Now, in our 50s, I don't want to run around everywhere. Some days we may end up with 3 things. Other days may just be 1. And then I want to sit at a coffee shop. But don't pack it so full that you miss out on just sitting and watching the day go by. Arranging transportation. If you are doing it yourself, with Dublin, we got a cab from the airport to our hotel, and then we either walked, we did the city bus tour for a day, tour out to the Cliffs of Moher. That was pretty much all the transportation that we had set up. For other trips, the app Rome to Rio, when we were going from the airport out to Sorrento in Italy, you can look up what is the fastest, the expense through this Rome to Rio app, and it will give you all that it's available. And it'll give you the time, the cost. It breaks it all down, which is great. And then 1 month out, I also start my drop zone. My husband laughs at me. In a spare bedroom, I just start dumping everything in there as I think of it. I go through my checklists. I have packing checklists. I can put that link down in the description too. Then there's other things that are trip specific that as I think of them, I just drop them in the guest room so that once I start to pack, it's all gathered in one place. Travel insurance. If you have travel type credit cards, look there first because they will have some coverage, and then you can add on to it there with a travel insurance specific that you can put into place for that big trip. The lesson I learned that from is when I had to have emergency eye surgery and we had to push back our Belize trip, lost out. Funny thing, my husband got his ticket refunded. We had to produce my surgeon's note, things like that, which we had to do separately for some reason. My same surgeon note for our tickets. He got his ticket refunded. I got rejected. Strange things happen in this world. What I should have done, but I didn't, is waited a few days and tried it again, because sometimes there's just a glitch. Strange things happen where you're like, in hindsight, submit it again and see if there's a glitch there. I am the one who had the surgery. I should get mine refunded, not him. But at least we got 50%. So travel insurance can help recoup those costs. 1 week. We're getting so close. This is where it gets exciting. Or at the 1 week part is where everything is put into place so we can get a little excited because it's vacation. 1 week before, calm and confirm phase. We're going to confirm our reservations. We're going to prep travel documents. We're going to watch the weather forecast. We're going to check in for our flights as soon as it opens, finalize the packing, and notified our credit card companies. Confirm those reservations. Everything's in order. You have your confirmation numbers. So just make sure that they're all confirmed. Make sure all of your entry requirements are in place. Do you have your confirmation email so that it's attached to your passport? All good there. And at the 1 week mark, that's when I start looking at the weather. So I know how I'm going to pack the couple days before. Sometimes, it's going to be pretty standard for the time of year you go. Sometimes there's going to be a dip or a spike, and you want to be ready for that. The next thing would be is checking in for your flight. Even if you're checking your bags, you can check in online. And I always advise setting an alarm to check in as soon as that opens. Typically, domestically, it's 24 hours before the flight. You can check for changing your seats if you want. Sometimes those shuffle around. Upgrades happen at this point. Notifying your credit card companies. Usually this is just for international flights, but if you don't use a credit card on a regular basis, it's not a bad idea to call your credit card company just so they're aware and none of your charges get denied. For international trips, so STEP is the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, and U.S. citizens can sign up for this. Enrolling in that STEP program alerts the embassies of where you are. If family members need to try and get a hold of you and they can't get a hold of you directly, it's another avenue to go through. It's just a good idea to keep it on radar. And especially if you're traveling solo, it's a must. The next few pieces are just extra information to that planning process and during the vacation. And this is to how to avoid decision fatigue. I was continually researching different things all the time. It doesn't make for a fun planning experience. So, what I have learned and what I do now is pick 1 to 2 activities per day, no more, to allow for a free day. Make some time for spontaneity in there, that you can add things in as you discover once you're there, because you may run into locals and you find something really cool that isn't on a travel blog or anything like that. And the last piece to that would be, don't continually research. Like, put your big picture things in at that 3-month, maybe even the 1-month part, but then stop, be done. We're going to do this. And then that's where that spontaneity comes in, that say, once you're there, it was meant to be. You were supposed to do it. Our brain does not need 75 restaurant recommendations. We need the best pasta carbonara, and that's it. Where do I find it? And when you travel internationally, it can be less expensive to use an eSIM versus your cellular service. I have another video on that, of the ones that I've used in the past. It wasn't as hard as I thought, and it saved a bundle on our 2-week trip to Croatia. Planning trips gets so much easier when you know when to do the thing. In this first video of 5 in the series of a travel tip playbook, we have the 3-1-1. 3 months, which is big item picture. We have the 1 month, build and structure everything so we're all ready to go. And then we have the 1 week, where it is confirm everything and just breathe. What's your biggest trip planning stress? Or do you have a system that you use? I'd love to hear about it in the comments, because I know how to travel. I love travel, but I can always tweak it. And there's some suggestions that are put in here that are great, and I appreciate them so much. All we're here to do is travel well, travel light, and travel in our own kind of style. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week with video 2 in the Travel Tip Playbook series. Happy travels! I almost forgot. Next week's video is going to be the essential packing hacks that I use for stress-free travel in a carry-on suitcase and my personal item bag only, even for a 2-week trip. And again, happy travels. Take 2. Nope. The Palermo airport, and we needed to get to Sorrento. Nope. That's over water, ding dong. Where did we go? What airport did we fly into? Oh, snap.